Welcome to Listen by Gene Ginsberg. This audio experience and podcast is all about social media, digital marketing, entrepreneurship, and interviews with top entrepreneurs in the digital and social space. I am your host, Gene Ginsberg, digital marketing expert, #1 best-selling author, and award-winning entrepreneur. I will be sharing with you strategies, tips, and tactics on how to grow your business and your social media following. Thanks for listening. Hey everyone, Gene Ginsberg here. Very excited, very special guest that I have today. I've been waiting for David to join us, and I'm so excited that he's here today. I'm going to introduce David. David Meltzer is the co-founder of Sports One Marketing and formerly served as the CEO of the renowned Lee Steinberg and Sports and Entertainment Agency, which was the inspiration for the movie Jerry Maguire. I did not know that, so I want to hear a little bit more about that. And David's life's mission is to empower over 1 billion people to be happy. That's an amazing mission, and I'd love to hear more about that as well. The simple yet powerful mission has led him on an incredible journey to provide one thing: value. And in all his content and communication, that's exactly what you'll receive. And as part of that mission for the last 20 years, he's been providing free weekly marketing trainings to empower others to empower and to be happy. So I'm very excited that you're here, David. Say hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody. And what a pleasure it is. Gene, you remind me of another friend of mine, Michelle Patterson. I was listening to your introduction, and I was like, if I close my eyes, you look like her, but especially sound like her. And She has a wonderful voice. So it's such a pleasure to be on here.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. It's such an honor to have you, and we're very excited, and the audience is very excited to have you. So tell us a little bit more about this inspiration for the movie Jerry Maguire. So what is that all about?
You know, I was working in technology, CEO of the first smartphone in the world called the PC phone. It was a Samsung market manufactured phone. And I left there from the Silicon Valley, and I was helping a friend. I was about to take another job with TELUS, which was a phone company in Europe. And I was going to be a job that I really wasn't too enthusiastic about. And a friend had a reality show, and I went up to help him negotiate against probably the greatest sports agent of all time, the most notable sports agent, a guy named Lee Steinberg. And Lee was who Cameron Crowe followed around to make the movie Jerry Maguire. And so a lot of times, what I love is people get that confused a lot of times. They're like, oh, this is Jerry Maguire. This is the guy that they based. No, I was the CEO of the company in which they based the film off of. But I will tell you that one of my greatest mentors, and I've been blessed to be around some unbelievable people with great situational knowledge, but the hyper intelligent Lee Steinberg, incredible humanitarian, had taught me so much. And I was blessed not just to run that company and be part of all of that, but most importantly, to learn from Lee.
Wow, that's amazing. I did not know actually where that inspiration came from, and now I do. You know, you learn something new every day, I say.
We hope so, right?
Yeah, that's fantastic. So let's start maybe a little bit in the back. So tell us about your background. How did you get started in all of this, and how did you get started with your company?
Yeah, so my background is basically one of a relationship with money. I wanted to be rich. I grew up super poor with a 6-kid family and a single mom who was a second-grade teacher who packed our dinners in a paper bag and filled up turnstiles at the 7-Eleven with greeting cards, but taught us all to be loving and kind and happy. And we were blessed to be born with a genetic disposition towards happiness. I call it the happiness gene. But my idea of happiness, because the only time I wasn't happy was when we were out of money and the financial stresses that things happen as a kid with 6 kids and a single mom. And so I went on a mission to make a lot of money, to buy my mom a house and a car. And 9 months out of law school, I was a millionaire, got involved in technology. Instead of being a real lawyer, as my mom would say, I got involved in the internet. And my whole life was reaffirmed through the next decade that money buys happiness. Everything I did, working in the Silicon Valley, raising hundreds of millions of dollars, being the CEO of the world's first smartphone, to Lee Steinberg, the most notable sports agency, marrying my dream girl from the 4th grade who hated me until, well after law school. Like, everything in my mind was related to money, and that all shifted. So I was also a humanitarian and philanthropic in a way that I was taught the more you give, the more you get. But the problem being a business person and a negotiator, a lawyer, the things that I did, I thought it was trading. I thought it was a negotiation. So for me, it was like give to get, not unconditionally give. So I had to shift the paradigm in my life and my values to the more that I receive, the more I can give. Because I had a real problem receiving, worthiness issues, imposter syndrome, self-sabotaging behavior, surrounding myself with the wrong people and wrong ideas, buying things I didn't need to impress people I didn't even like. All those things resulted in a great quantum shift. 2 years before I lost everything in 2008, that's when my quantum shift occurred. And I went on this journey to to empower others to be happy.
That is an amazing story. So you are an attorney, or you went to law school, but you decided not to practice, or did you practice at a certain point?
No, my mom made me take the bar, so I did pass the bar, but I've never practiced law in my life. It saved me a bunch of money in legal bills because most of the lawyers that I do are horrible businessmen, and they manipulate, lie, cheat, oversell, and are very obsequious, in my opinion, of being lawyers, and it's shameful what they do. So that's probably where I made back my law school money, was saving in legal fees from lawyers trying to rip me off.
Ah, gotcha. But thank you for sharing that wonderful story. I know that I came from a similar background. My parents didn't have a lot of money, and so growing up that way, it can be very tough. So I appreciate you sharing that. And I mean, but it made you who you are, right? I mean, it made you what you are now, and helping people and bringing value. So, it's I guess it's two sides of the same coin, right?
Yeah, and I think that relationship tip too is important because for me, I believe money's still important. But the difference is money in my life doesn't buy happiness or love, but it allows me to shop. And what I've learned over the last 14 years is to shop for the right things, to build community centers in Africa, to give scholarships to college, to do the things that are empowering with the money. So the money is very important still to me. So I didn't lose that technique, skill, knowledge, or desire. It was just I started to shop for the right things. And I still believe making money, you can't be poor enough to make someone rich. You can be rich enough to make others rich if you shop for the right things.
Absolutely. That's a very interesting point. So tell us about your current company. What's that all about?
Yeah, so I from Lee Steinberg founded a sports marketing and media company with Hall of Fame quarterback Warren Moon, who was a partner at Lee's with us. He was also a client of Lee's, but Warren and I built a company that brought all the right people, celebrities, athletes, entertainers, high net wealth individuals, to the greatest sporting events and award shows and other sport and entertainment activities so that we could make a lot of money to raise money for charity. So everything we did had a charitable purpose or cause and have a lot of fun. So we picked the things that Warren and I enjoyed the most, like the Super Bowl, Pro Bowl, Masters, Kentucky Derby. Unfortunately and fortunately for me, I've always built everyone else's brands. I've built brands of the celebrities and athletes and entertainers. I built brands for big families and for companies. And about 3.5 years ago, I met a guy named Gary Vaynerchuk. I'd been writing books and coaching and speaking, but Gary took my brand to the next level by teaching me how to create a digital brand for myself, a platform that has allowed me to reach the world now. And so as COVID hit and the sports world died and mass gatherings died, and there was no Super Bowl, Pro Bowl, Masters, Kentucky Derby, Breeders' Cup, there was no ESPYs, Emmys, Oscars, Grammys, I started to pay my attention. Left as CEO last December, right before COVID, and really have been focusing on my brand and bringing business to the old company. Left some younger guys to run it, but that kind of died out in March. And so right now I have a TV show, Elevator Pitch, which is on Cheddar. I have a Bloomberg new TV show called 2 Minute Drill. I have, of course, free Friday trainings that I do, which is very important to me. I have books, 4 different bestsellers, and speak around the world. And I do executive coaching as well and business advisory. So I got my hands full. And most importantly, like I said, been married 23 years of yesterday and have 4 of the most wonderful children alive. And I usually have only one question of being a father of 3 teenage daughters. What do people do when they have bad kids? Because I'm telling you, I got 3 wonderful kids, and it's the biggest challenge of my life. I don't know if because it's 3 teenage girls, but I just, if you don't have good kids, I don't know what to do because I'm a pretty capable person, and it's the biggest challenge of my life, figuring out how to handle 3 teenage daughters.
Yeah, I'm sure that's a handful, I think, at this point, right? But always a blessing, right? That's
Oh,
the
big
main
bus.
thing. Yes. That's an interesting point that you brought up Gary, because Gary was also on this show, I don't know, about a year ago or so on this podcast. So that's fantastic that he was the one who kind of allowed you to bring in your digital brand. And it's so important right now, right? Because of COVID, I mean, digital is just becoming such a big part of our businesses, everything, right? This podcast is brought to you by the Digital Marketing Method monthly group coaching program, your methodology for growing your business and your social media following. Join me and my group of supportive entrepreneurs and learn how you can grow your business and your social media following, where we cover topics such as Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, email marketing, and so much more. Go to dmgroup.online, dmgroup.online. So how have things changed for you since COVID started? I mean, it sounds like you were already building your business on the digital side, but what's changed for you?
For me, two things. One, it's accelerated everything I wanted. So I still work with Gary, and I did not understand when he kept telling me you're not posting enough content, you're not making enough content. What's changed for me is I realize that if you do not annoy everyone that loves you or likes you, or annoy the people that hate you and don't like you, you're not even close to starting having enough content. There's so many people, such a wide spectrum, and such a strong signal that's necessary that, COVID has allowed me, to quadruple the amount of content that I do, and it's still not enough. It is working, right? Accelerating and growing my brand at an exponential rate like I've never dreamed before. But Gary's been right for 3.5 years, and I totally finally understand that I have not put up enough quality content, and that I have to continue to figure out how to put up good stuff. And there's so many different platforms to do it in, and appreciate him and his genius. The second thing, believe it or not, is not a business thing. I teach people how to balance their values. I believe in having a routine, and an adaptable routine. One of the things I've always prided myself is I have one of the best marriages that I know of. I get along and have great relationships. Even though I have 3 teenage daughters, I have very close relationships based off of, respect and admiration. But I think I've been lying to myself. What changed the most for me is I think I undervalued how wonderful my family is. And so I've been exposed and have access to these great sporting events with these famous people. And I don't think appreciated how much I like just having dinner with my entire family. And in fact, I, have told my wife this: if somebody would invite me to the Super Bowl, but all of my kids and my wife said, no, I want to have dinner with you instead, I absolutely would choose dinner with all of my family over going to the Super Bowl 100%. And I'm not sure I realized that until COVID.
Yeah, it's true. The dynamics have changed, but very much in a positive way, right? I mean, it kind of makes us appreciate what we have in our lives. Before, it was just very like hustle and bustle, getting stuff done, going to work, dropping the kids off at soccer. But it's like now that we have to be all closed in and we're all together, it's like but in a positive way, makes you appreciate all of that too. So I totally agree with you that
Yeah.
it's
almost a simple walk now seems like so wonderful compared to like, I don't have time to do that. Right?
Yeah, I know. It's like always like we were so busy always before, but like, was that really valuable to our lives? I always kind of think about that. It's true. Things have changed, but also in a very positive way in some fashion. So it's good to hear your experience with COVID and how it's changed your family life. So one of the things I wanted to come back to was my introduction was about empowering over 1 billion people to be happy. So tell us a little bit about that. Like, where did that come from? Why 1 billion people, and what does that mean to be happy for you?
Yeah, so happiness to me means to enjoy the consistent, everyday, persistent, without quit pursuit of my own potential. Not to vote what other people want for me, not to vote for what I don't want, but to fill the vacuum that I create by expanding, by growing, by accelerating with what I want. And so it's very important to me to have that happiness in my life. And once I achieved it through values and daily practices that I have, I decided that I could change the world, because happiness, most people don't understand, is the greatest virus of all time. It spreads simply by witnessing it. It strengthens you financially, emotionally, physically, spiritually, on all aspects of your life. No one attacks anyone when they're happy. Happy people rarely get sick. And so I went on a mission to teach people to be happy. And then I realized instead of individual consciousnesses, if I could teach happiness and create a collective consciousness, one of abundance, imagine how many people would it take to change the world? And I said, there's about 8 billion people in the world. What if I could impact over 1 billion people? Because I know one particle of light overcomes millions of particles of darkness. If I had 1 billion people on my side that walked around finding the light, the love, and the lessons and everything, creating happiness, empowering others to be happy, this would change. I humbly, one individual could change the world. And so I wanted to reverse engineer that, connect the dots backwards, as I had learned in business years and years ago. And so I said, what's it going to take? And then I realized, wow, if I could find 1,000 people like Jean that I'm confident can empower 1,000 people in her lifetime to empower 1,000 more people. 1,000 times 1,000 would be 1,000,000. 1,000,000 times 1,000 would be 1 billion. I think that I have the capability to empower 1,000 people like you, Gene, to do that in my lifetime. And so my outrageous, crazy, Jesus-like idea that everyone made fun of me, laughed at me, scoffed at me, asked me who the heck I thought I was. Now they applaud me. They ask me to come on interviews and TV and radio and movies and all kinds of stuff as the happiness guy, the gratitude guy. And rarely, very rarely, does anyone laugh at me, scoff at me, or make fun of me, or even think that I'm not capable of achieving what I believe to be an earth-changing, impactful life legacy that I could leave of happiness.
That is just so profound. That's amazing. And I'm glad that you decided to share your message with me, because then I want to share it with my audiences, and hopefully they'll share the message with their audiences. So it's like the paying forward, right? Just the gift that keeps on giving. So that's amazing. And then, so part of what you do is these weekly trainings, right? So do you want to share a little bit more about what are these weekly trainings look like? Where can people find them? And what does that mean?
I appreciate that, because it means a lot to me. So I've been training for 20 years, mostly in sales and marketing, in the last 14 years with this mission to empower people to be happy. So every Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, I do a training on empowering people to be happy. This week, for example, is margins of millionaires. So I'm attacking making more money. So how to create millions of dollars in the margins of buying low and selling high, and all the situational knowledge, experience, advice, and dummy tax that I've paid, references, referrals, and introductions that I can give, and Q&A. But it's all free. And what I do is I have the replay. I have one of the top podcasts in the world now. People see and get that featured on Spotify or on Entrepreneur. Just download the playbook. They can replay the trainings. And what makes my heart sing the most, and the passion and purpose that I have, is, I'm blessed to have these extraordinary guests on my podcast. The Cameron Diaz, the Brett Favre's, the Deepak Chopra's, but yet my trainings now surpassed all of the extraordinary guests that I have. It's the #1 downloaded podcast that I have, is when I do the replays of the training. So I want to invite everyone to either email me at david@dmeltzer.com to join us for free training, or text me 949-298-2905 to join me for free trainings.
Fantastic. Yes, we will put that all in the show notes. Yes. And just go to dmeltzer.com/training to register for the training. And is it just a different topic every week, or how does that work?
Yeah, different topic every week. Once a month, I do my favorites, BYOQ. Bring your own questions. I bring the answers. And I do rapid fire questions, one of my specialties, because I have an eclectic background with a lot of experience, which means I'm old. But I'm able to handle a lot of questions very quickly and get through those and help people at an exponential rate.
That's fantastic. And is it for design for entrepreneurs, or anybody
Everybody
out there?
Ages, everyone out there. I get questions that range from, how to scale a business to, relationship advice to suntan lotion recommendations. It doesn't matter. I'm well versed, and if I don't know the answer, I will find it for you. So you got that from me as well.
Oh, great. I might have to listen to your recommendations for suntan lotion, That's a good one. That's a good one, especially being in Southern California.
Elta MD UV protected.
Okay. Well, there you go. That's fantastic.
See, I got it.
That's great. Awesome. So what, last question, what's on the horizon? What's the new initiatives and projects that you're working on to drive your business or to drive your mission?
So the most exciting thing I have is my new TV show, which will be not only on Bloomberg TV, but on Reach TV at all the airports and hotel rooms, and of course on all social media sides of what I do, from my playbook to everywhere we can distribute it. But it's the 2 minute drill. And so it's 2 minutes. You pitch whatever you want, everything from raising money to your business to how to get your kids to eat broccoli. I don't care. I'll take your 2 minute pitch. I'll give you a few minutes of feedback and allow you to ask me one question, and then we'll have a $10,000 prize for the winner, 5,000 for second, and 2,500 plus prizes. And you get the exposure and awareness from being on the show. So that to me is one of the most exciting things. And then of course, just continuing the Free Friday trainings. I'm coming up. I get so many people. You're welcome to give me your suggestions of what to train, like this Margins of Millionaires is I'm very excited about. We've done, how to sales pitch, the 5 to Thrive. I've done Ultimate Ego and talked about ego training. So we've had a lot of fun. And like I said, I've been doing it for over 20 years. So we really enjoy empowering others to empower others. And the success stories have been phenomenal.
That is amazing to hear. That just brightens up my day to hear that. So I'm very excited for you, and I love the mission, helping and empowering over 1 billion people to be happy. That is, that's an amazing mission to have. So thanks for being here. And of course, dmeltzer.com/training is the way to sign up for the training. And then anything else you want to add before we wrap up, how to get in touch with you, anything else?
Yeah, my email is the best way, david@dmeltzer.com. And my best piece of advice for everyone that's listening, be kind to your future self and do good deeds. Thank you so much. That's amazing.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. We really appreciate it. And would love to have you on in the next episode, in the future sometime. So thank you again.
Absolutely. Please let me know how I can be of service. Thank you, Gene.